He knows the days of the gravy train are about to end. Cope and seethe, you vertically challenged fool. Look at Zelensky's face there. Just look at it. Honestly, I didn't look that miserable 30 seconds after me nana brought me a sandwich when I was a teenager and walked in on me wanking. Okay, I haven't talked about Ukraine-Russia war for a long time. One, because the platform used to ban you for daring disagree with the butchery and slaughter of thousands of people. And two, because I've already said my piece about it. However, watching this video and then reading the response from the woke left, who are now insane, bloodthirsty warmongers because they've been programmed to be so. And for the last few years, they've displayed the situational awareness of a drunk goldfish wearing a hijab. The people, formerly called the left, are now blood-soaked mass murderers that cheer along big banks and arms companies. You almost couldn't make it up. And the fact that they've managed to turn the formerly peace-loving left-wing hippies into flag wavers for arms manufacturers and politicians, laundering taxpayers' money via arms companies and then putting it straight into the bank accounts with all the subtlety of a punch in the face. All of that has made me so annoyed by it. I just have to open my mouth again, and I know it's kind of boring talking about the war now, but we are where we are. Here's the video in question, a short interview with Trump after he's just met the poison dwarf with less morals than a kleptomaniac crack whore. Let's watch the interview and then I'll give you my 2 cents.
And he wants it to end as quickly as possible. He wants a fair transaction to take place. And I think, right now I'm campaigning, so right now I don't have much to do with it other than we're doing very well in terms of the campaign. And I've been saying that I believe if I win, we're going to have a very fair and I think actually rather rapid deal. It should stop, and the president wants it to stop, and I'm sure President Putin wants it to stop, and that's a good combination. So we want to have a fair deal for everybody.
What do you envision as fair?
Well, it's too early to say that.
What does fair sound like? Yeah, she wants him to solve the entire messy problem in 10 seconds. It's not possible. But essentially, the message is a good one. It's time to stop the war. We've been saying this. Sensible people, normal people, have been saying this for a year. As usual, the prophetic Peter Hitchens, who's almost always right on the money, said this 15 months ago. All war has to end. I've talked about my own experience. It's not a military-themed channel, but I have talked about it. It's not a real peace process unless both sides have to take a bite out of a turd sandwich. That's how it works. Loads of veterans didn't like what happened in Northern Ireland when you got baby killers released from prison under the Good Friday Agreement. 18 months after killing children. There was a famous case. I believe it was an RAF airman carrying his daughter, a toddler, both of them killed by a murderer from the IRA. And he got released under the Good Friday Agreement. And we weren't happy about it. But that's the price of peace. You beat each other up a little bit until both sides are willing to make some concessions. And then you get around the table and you suck it up because it's better than endless death. The bloodbath in Ukraine is outrageous. Hundreds of thousands of dead on both sides, and it shows no sign of stopping. Nobody knows the true statistics, but they reckon we'll be up to 1 million in short order. They're lying about the statistics on the Ukraine side of things. They have lost at least 100,000 men, and they're conscripting people, dragging young lads off bus stops, sticking them in a uniform and tossing them at the front, feeding them into the meat grinder. And I've seen a video of a bloke with Down syndrome in a Ukrainian uniform running around on the front line like he's chasing butterflies. He's going to be pushing up the daisies by now, isn't he? The poor bastard. If you are pro this war, you have been misled by the powers that be, as usual. The mainstream media, the government, the big banks, the big arms corporations, and the money laundering, thieving, professional liars that we call politicians. So the way I see it, it's very, very simple. It doesn't matter whether you're left, centre right. If you are anything other than an insane woke globalist with the charisma of a radioactive leper, you should be supporting a peace process. All wars end eventually. Nobody gets exactly what they want. That's life. But we can end this quickly and easily. We make promises to Vlad that we're not going to push the borders anymore, and we're not going to park missiles next to his border, which no country would accept. We wouldn't like it if the Russians parked nuclear missiles on the Isle of Man, and the Americans wouldn't like it if they parked missiles in Cuba or on the border with Mexico. So he's at least got something of an argument to make, hasn't he? We make concessions, we get a peace process, we stop another million people getting their arms and legs blown off. And if all you can do is rah, rah, rah about you never give up and you never concede, well, you're doing that because you're a chicken hawk. You were a chicken when you're a young man, but you're a hawk when you're wearing a suit and tie and you're sending other people's kids to die. You self-serving, degenerate ratbag. Honestly, people like David Lammy, the man is a sack of rats. The British politicians and the American politicians and the European politicians, all of them are getting paid. Like Mick Jagger said, you can't always get what you want. Suck it up, sign a peace process. If you don't support that, at least have the decency to hold your hands up and just admit, yeah, I'm a warmonger. Yeah, I'm pro-death. Mass death. The Guardian, how they've managed to turn the left-wing newspaper into the Warmongers Gazette is truly staggering to me. And the BBC, when it comes to this subject, is as bloodthirsty as Pol Pot with a hangover. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And damn them, this is the most annoying thing about it, damn them for turning me, an angry bootneck, into a hippie. A peace and love man hippie. Because that's what they've done to me. The masses are so stupid. It's taken people like me to come out and say this stuff. Unbelievable. If you think we're going to win easily, I remind you that they said we were definitely going to win in Vietnam and we were definitely going to win in Afghanistan and we definitely can't lose. It's a grinding stalemate. We thought it was going to be World War III. It's not going to cause World War III. The nuclear deterrent has always been too good. Let's have it right. Nuclear bombs probably saved about 100 million lives, didn't they? Because all we had was unending, ceaseless war for millennia, and then a couple of them got dropped on the Japanese, and all of a sudden people started going, maybe I won't just invade my neighbours as soon as I think I've got a slightly larger army than them. We thought it was going to be World War III. It's not. It's World War I. It's a grinding stalemate when young men get butchered on the whims of old, fat, self-serving ones. So I'm done with it. I'm sick of listening to so-called liberals, woke lunatics who've been brainwashed so they're about as objective as a particularly clingy mother at a beauty contest, to just spew nonsense into the air. If you're going to keep doing it, fine. But I want it on record, in a digital forum, what I've been saying for a year. If you've ever read a history book, you know what's happening, you know who's being paid, you know who's lying about it, and you know that a peace process, well, it won't satisfy either side, and that's the point. But it'll stop this unending war of mass death just to make money for bought and paid ratbag politicians across the Western world. And if you want to be an 8-year-old about it and go, ooh, therefore the bootneck, who's a born and raised Englishman with absolutely zero ties, interest or like for Vladimir Putin or any other random Russian I don't even know, well then have at it. Because that's what I've come to expect from you lunatics anyway. But if you're a person of conscience, seriously, this is a plea to you. Left-wingers, centre-left, centrists, right-wingers, whatever. If stopping millions of young men and women losing their lives or their legs in a pointless conflict, I suggest you get with the programme. Just ask yourself a simple question. Who's more likely to be lying to you? Me or presidents and prime ministers? Professional liars. Answers on a postcard. All right, I'm done for the day. Have a fantastic Saturday. Hope you're all doing well, and I'll see you for a live stream tomorrow. All right, thanks for tuning in. Toodle pip. Cheers.